All right, what's up, ladies and gents? Welcome to Quantum Study Session. Today is March 4th. It's Wednesday. I had to check what day it was. It's Wednesday. So let's see if we get another break here. This candle can close beneath 59, popping itself right back up. It's stuck between 59 and 74 right now. And if that breaks another one, if that breaks another blue, this might be the beginning of the downtrend. So far, this thing has been violently uptrending, and I hope everybody was able to track some of these moves, was able to avoid, right, some of these signals against the blue, against the 5 minute cross up. Continuation play after continuation play. We had one final one up here, and now I'm waiting to see if we're going to have a second blue break here for another potential push down. So far, it's holding. It's holding. It does not want to break that other one. So if this pops back over 74, like it's doing right now, all right, let's look at our 2 minute. There it goes. Look at that. All right, the 2 minute blue held beautifully as well. Look at this. Boom, boom. So until it broke that, I wasn't liking any of the shorts. There's that pop back up. Okay, we're still struggling to break over and hold above these 5 minute, 15 minute purple candles I marked up, and we're gonna go over some of this. So the higher time frame candles are really nice areas, especially when multiple time frames line up. When multiple time frames line up, it gives that area like extra strength. And I've been just kind of back testing this for like the last couple weeks, and I made the video on it because I liked what I saw. So you can really start pinpointing areas where you're gonna see potential reaction. And obviously, if the area it gets to, the area shows weakness, right? As if it approaches it, pushes down, but not violent enough, right? As it keeps tapping it, the chances of it breaking get higher. So right now, we saw multiple taps of the 2 minute. One, two, three, four. Each time gave an opportunity potential for it to break, but it did not. The wicks kept holding above both of these candles. So on the 2 minute, both of these candles held beautifully. Not a single one closed below, giving the area strength. Now we have a bunch of blue on the 1 minute as well. Yeah, one, two additional. So for this to potentially start coming down, it needs to break this whole area. Okay. So do not sleep on these blue candles, right? These blue and purple candles on the higher time frames give very nice areas. So for this area to break, right, there's a 5 minute and 15 minute candle here, a purple candle. So let's go to our 15 minute chart. Okay. Okay, there it is right here. That's a 15 minute purple. You have another one right there. So you have two of these areas to look out for, right? If it manages to hold above again, right? This was the original 15 minute candle right here that broke. Okay, it's very bullish. The whole candle got retested, right? Same rules apply, but look at that, look at that, look at that retest from 138 all the way down almost 100 points. That's what makes higher time frames risky, right? It pulled all the way down to 35. If we were going to play a retest of that candle, right? 35, let's say someone caught the bottom at 50, maybe 40, your stop loss will be all the way down at 74. That's 80 freaking points. I'm not touching that on a 15-minute time frame, okay? But so far it's been holding that candle. It is still trying to stay above it. Again, we had another candle here, another one that pushed, right? And you could have played this one, might have been a little bit less risk. When it hit 67, your stop loss could have been 30, right? 37 points. I ain't touching that, honestly. Maybe with a micro for that push back up that it's given us. And let's see if this can continue to hold and break above. Now, if you want to, right, you can. It's up to you, right? We can take a look at the 30 minute, right? It's doing the same thing. There's a 30 minute purple right here. Okay. That's what's holding it down. There's another one right here. That candle did break. It's retesting the whole freaking candle. The same exact setup on any time frame, right? You guys can keep going and keep going. You can see the same things, right? Over and over and over again. You had a purple over here that did give a little tippy tip break before, but didn't fully hold. before it flipped back down, and you could just do the same thing on any higher time frame you guys want. Anything that has a purple candle, you can plot it up if you want, right, as a higher area of resistance potential, right? This is an hourly purple over here from the 27th of February, and it's marked up in the exact same area as all those other candles are. So this is a major area. This 25,000, let's say 100, is a major area, and it is currently pulling itself back up and trying to hold. Okay, so these higher time frames, right? Again, I don't go that deep. I like to play the 5, max 15, and I will just continue to look at what I see here and play the same idea, same breaks, everything that I've explained in previous setups, right? Higher time frames require higher risk. That's the only problem. So here we have now a blue. So now we have this 58 to have potential as a cushion. Next one's all the way down there in the 5 minute, right? If I go to my 1 minute, right, this area at 58, do I have anything here? Yes, I do. Guess what? We got this whole 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute right here at this 58 area. So what I can do, right, is I can put multi time frame, bullish zone, or whatever you can name it, whatever you want, right? You could just do 1, 2, and 5, 1, 2, and 5, 1 minute, 2 minute, whatever you want to put here, 2 minute, 5 minute, and just leave it like that, right? Now you know that this is an area that has multiple candles that could potentially hold this area if we approach it again, and you wait for reaction. Okay, so this zone right here is now going to be a stronghold, right? Beautiful push back up, right? But we are still struggling to break over this stack of levels. You still got a couple candles, so this is where we're stuck right now. We're going to be stuck potentially right here, which is about 100 points of range. Pretty big space in there. Okay, so that video I put out, I started testing this a couple weeks ago. I never really kind of looked farther back to plot these candles, and then I started looking at them, and I was just like, oh man, if I kept these areas in line when there's these violent push-ups, I would be able to kind of pinpoint where I'm going to see pauses, and then also where there's potential continuation when those 5 minute breaks, because those 5 minute candles, right, they're not always going to be tight. They're not always going to show up super tight like the 1 minute, right? The 1 minute is going to give you tighter areas, right? Especially when it's super rangy, it's going to give you tighter areas. The 5 minute is going to give you much wider areas. So you're going to have blues all the way down here, and then you have these purples over here, right? So you have these areas at 830, 838. These purples obviously were up here at 909, right? Before then, you had one here down here at 760. The top side was up at 830. So they're a lot wider. But even so, you can still see what occurs when they break, right? So when this purple candle broke, it just gave a little retest, no full-blown retest, right, of that whole breaking candle, and then the pop up, and then it did it again, right? It did it again on the break of this candle, right? If you guys look at the opening trade, right, the opening trade, this candle broke that candle at 805, right? Go back and look, right? You had a couple tests, and then a wild wick down here that tested the two breaking candles of those bearish moves, held, and then skyrocketed, and then commenced its move up. Okay, and if I zoom out, right, do I have other purple candles in the way? Yes, I did, right? Let me zoom in on the 5, right? I had these over here, all the way up here at 60, and all the way up here at 06. Okay, these two guys were over here. Now, let's go back and look. Okay, first you had the tippy tip break. Not a fan of the tippy tip breaks. Hard push down. Then you had a clean break. Okay, nice, beautiful clean break. Retest, push. Break, no real retest, push. Okay, you guys start seeing it on the same higher time frame. Again, tippy tip break, that's a big ass 5 minute blue at the open. Be very careful with that. Tippy tip break, not enough for me to enter anything. Retested the whole freaking candle, gave you a nice little wick here, formed a new blue, pushed itself up. And you can see the re-break, the test, continuation, break no retest, continuation. Violent break, not a fan of these kind of breaks where the candles that open above, not a fan of these. I want to see a breaking candle, something like this, right? But even this one still came back down and pushed that bottom side of this candle over here, which I didn't have anything to guide. Okay. So right now I would want, for this 15-minute area to break, we want 3 5-minute candles to hold above, right? This is a 15-minute area zone. So you won't see continuation here until we start seeing 3 5-minute candles hold above this 15-minute, right? We had one here, pulled back down. We had 1 and 2 here, right? This one did close above, but it was red. I would want to see it hold. 1, 2, 3, broke back down. Now we're having another potential test, and I want to see if this will really start to break over that level as well. Okay, we also had an hourly candle there as well. So we have a lot of resistance in this area. So you need a lot of these candles to hold at this point. As it slowly continues to push up, I want to see this level break, and I want to see it continue on the other time frames as well, and then we will have that break, right? And again, I'm not looking at the 1 hour, right? We know there's a 1 hour candle there now, which could give more reason to be cautious, especially because we're at the current day high. You want to be cautious. You are very close to the current day high. You guys know me. If you guys listen to me, I don't like to trade around opening, market opening. I don't like to trade around current day high or current day low. Okay, I want to be extra cautious around those areas. But with the higher time frame candles, you can really start pinpointing where we're going to have some resistance points. And those higher time frame candles are much more scattered, so they're not going to be as tight. You're going to have bigger areas of to see potential when you see a big move, right, for potential resistance or support when it gets down there. Okay. So the opening for me, you guys go over the 1 minute. Right, the 1 minute was super funky. We had this big blue candle break through this whole thing, push up a little bit, came back down, little bit of a bounce, then started breaking in. Right, this big blue on the 1 minute held beautifully. You guys can see how it held. It did not break. Not a single candle broke beneath it. We also had this 5-minute candle that I also marked up. You can see where it says 5-minute. So this wicked hard, and I love these bullish wicks, these bullish hammers. These are the same kind of candles that I look for when I'm looking at sauce box reaction. Little bit of sauce there for you guys, for a nice beautiful reversal. Then started pulling through, right? And then you want to see the breaks of the purples. First break of a purple, pushed up. Second break of a purple, pushed up. Guess what? Couldn't break this one, right? Couldn't break this one. Hard rejection. Came back down. Retested the blue candle over here. Pulled itself back up, and more confirmation, right? Not a single blue broke. Remember that, right? The uptrend being strong, not a single blue candle broke in this area. So I'm not liking the shorts until I start seeing confirmation by the blues breaking. So what looked better to me were the longs. Purple break, another one, held the blue, didn't break, another purple break, purple break, until we finally got to this area, but not a single blue formed. Gave way, right? Still no blue breaking, right? Formed a couple blues, didn't break. Purple break, pushed up. Another bed of blues. This was the first blue that broke for today, okay? Keep note. The first blue that broke right there. This guy on the 1 minute, right? Now you want to see these break for additional confirmation. Guess what? It didn't break. Only one blue breaking. I want to see the rest of these break. Gave you a little bit of a play, 20 points, right? 10 point risk for 20 points. I would take it. Formed a couple more beds and pushed right back up. But now we want to see this area break if it's going to get continuation. So here's where we're stuck right now, right? Between the two areas. And, right, what I love, right, when I have other confluences, we are stuck between two sauce boxes. I don't have the sauce boxes drawn out because, again, this is quantum session, not my student session. But I have two sauce boxes where these lines are, right? Coinkydink? It's not. It happens a lot. I see this a lot. Even on all these 5-minute, 15-minute candles that I went back to go start marking, there are a ton of them inside the sauce boxes. That's not a coincidence. So I have pinpoint areas to keep an eye for. Reaction. Match that up with something like P2P, right? I preach this to the end of I will preach this to the end of time. When llama shit matches up with mine, it is always free freaking money. right? But wait for the reactions, right? If it hits a 786, right, and I have a purple candle, well, guess what? If it's gonna break that purple candle, I ain't gonna enter the short. I'm gonna enter the long because it's gonna continue to go the opposite way. But if the purple candle forms and it holds, then the play is going to be good for push down. Obviously, I like to wait for A++ setup sometimes, but I want it to hit an area and give me that reaction that I'm looking for. And preferably, once it continues to start breaking, if there's a blue candle that formed close, especially when it ranges. I love when it starts to range inside of those areas because you'll see hesitation and then it'll be deciding what it wants to do. Then you'll get your quantum range, you'll get your blues and your purples. And guess what? All you have to do is wait for one side to break and you play the side that breaks. You want room, obviously. So if you have a level there, you want to be cautious. Right now, we're struggling to break through these levels. Right, here's another blue. So guess what? Right, until this breaks that blue, right, shorts aren't going to look super good yet. Right, this is crossing down. There's a purple candle. Oh, didn't stay purple. Didn't stay purple. We got a 2-minute level at 95. We got that blue at 98. Got that 90 area for potential to look for reaction. Let me see what the Dom is going to do down here. I mean, the Dom pushes down and violently pushes up. It still looks like there's a ton of potential like buyers. Yeah, look at that. Violently just pushing. Any pull down gives a violent pull up. That pulled down to 808, pulled up to 21. 13 points in a blink of an eye. So it's still holding super bullish stance. Like super bullish. Not looking bearish at all until it starts breaking blues, right? This is how I started to really, really play good trend plays, right? Continuation plays. When the trend is strong up, guess what you're going to see? A lot of purple breaks. When the trend is strong down, guess what you're going to see? A lot of blue breaks. So I'm not going to play a trend flip until I start seeing the candles that coincide with, the bullish or bearish side to break. It's very simple for me, all right? Yo, all right, let me start answering some questions. So if you guys have any questions, right, this is something I wanted to go over because I know I did the video on it. This has been something that has been just playing out beautifully and I couldn't wait to share with you all. So I made the video before I even did the session because I was so excited to share this with y'all because I've been catching some insane trades, insane plays. When the candles can't close above it, I'll enter, have my risk below usually another, let's say right here, right? Let's say I see this wick down. As long as it holds above this blue, I'm going to like it, right? I see this one breaking. I go in, I'm going to go in long. My stop loss will be below 46, 47. And if the candle wicks up and closes above, there's my play. My runner will run. And it's been so simple and easy to play these. This is a 1, 2 minute, 1, 2, and 5 minute area. Even more strength in the area until a higher time frame candle closes below. You still want to play cautiously again, right? Because you will get wicks. You don't want to enter right at 58 and then have your stop loss all the way down if it's too deep, right? I would start beginning if I see a wick bleed through and I have another support area, as long as that candle closes above, you should be okay, right? The other way that I've been playing it as well is when there's a candle that closes pretty fairly close, 62, I may begin like 1 micro or 2 micros just to see if it'll hold. If I have a good push, good room up, and then my stop loss will be just a break of the candle. If it breaks, I'm out. If it breaks by 10, 15 points, I'll just be out. A couple micros, it won't hurt me that bad. But it's been playing insanely well. And the same thing applies on the top side, right? If you have a top side purple and you see that a candle approaches it, but it fails to close above it, you can short it until it breaks it. Again, you still want to play caution based on the trend. Based on the trend, you want to play caution. But you will see rejection points around the areas. But when it's supporting, right, you're going to see one push, right? This push down couldn't close. Enter the long, right? I would get stopped out if it broke too deep, or if I had another area below, I would just take it out and wait for it to close back up again or pull itself back up, and I might re-enter it, right? This instance, it did not close at 1 or 2 times, and then it violently pushed up. You had another opportunity up here to get in as well. This entry here gave you 1, 2, 3 opportunities with your stop loss below that 43. So each opportunity was about 15 to 20 points risk, and that's where you would size accordingly. Okay. So currently, right? Oh, look at that! It finally is finally breaking through, and still blues showing up. So you can see the buying pressure still there. You can see the fail. Look at this, beautiful break. Not a clean retest. 48 stop loss would have been 35, 13. You got more than 13 points on that baby right there. almost 20 in a blink of an eye. Just consistently playing out the same way over and over and over again, right? We don't wait. We're not going to wait all day. We're not going to wait a lot for setups. The setups appear. You just have to be cautious, right, with your sizing, especially when you're risking a lot, and just let the play. You're going to lose some. I lose trades. Okay? All right. I've been sticking to my rule of one contract, one contract, and I'm glad because when I was in my practice account, I lost 2K, made it back. But if it was a real account, it would have been cooked, absolutely cooked. No, because okay, all right. So if the previous blue and purple candle is invalidated, can you still consider it retesting? When it breaks, the only thing I'm considering to be retested is the breaking candle, right? You can, okay, if you follow the simple rule of thumb of support and resistance, right? When a resistance point gets broken, it usually becomes what? Support, right? That's the general rule. So you're looking for the same thing to happen. That's why I wait for the break and retest, right? Same thing with orb, right? The top of orb is a resistance point. So what do you wait for? You wait for the break and the retest, the confirmation of the flip of the resistance B and support. That's the exact same concept here with these candles, right? When you have a blue candle, that's a support zone. So when that support candle breaks, guess what? You're waiting for the break and the retest, the confirmation of the breaking candle to hold for that continuation down. Same thing, vice versa. So that's the simple concept that is followed here when we're doing that. Same kind of thing with the levels as well. When a level gets flipped and broken, you're waiting for the level to flip, then you want to see it turn into resistance or support depending on the direction it's going. Right? Look at this. Beautiful, right? Retesting a couple times, 53 popped up to, like, these are violent push-ups. Like violent pushes up. Like I would have my, if I was playing these scalps here 53, I would have my stop loss around 48 just to play it safe, knowing that there's a chance it could pop back in to retest this area as well. But this is just violently pushing up. The 5-minute finally gave way to that area, that 15-minute area. This is also an hourly area, right? The hourly candle is going to close in about 15 minutes. So if that hourly candle closes above here, you're going to see a potential hourly break and retest too. And if that freaking 92 area holds, we might see another continuation push up. But you'd have to look, right? We'd have to look at the hourly candle and see, right? Again, I already did the break and retest. But you want to see this continue to hold on the hour for that purple candle over here at 97. So already did it. And now it can keep going, right? Next area we have our levels, 81, 86. I don't remember where my next sauce box is. It's somewhere up there. But it's probably, it'll probably tap it. Who knows? This thing could keep going. But you can see, you'll see same setups on the hourly occur. Same kind of idea. But I don't like to play higher time frames. I just don't. I know some of you degens are way more patient than me and can absolutely do it. I just personally don't like to. All right, what happened with your accounts, Javi? Had some fun with your YOLOs. Yes, I did, Chris. I had some fun with the YOLOs. Every once in a while, I'll just go in full con and just be like, let's see what happens. And got it out on 3 evals, blew them obviously. Well, I'm the same as you guys. Sometimes I just get an itch where I just want to see big numbers, and I don't do that on my actual, like, I have my very strict accounts, then I have my fun accounts, and then if I want to be like, let me see some big numbers, and usually when I want to see big numbers, it's starts as big red, and I'm lucky if it comes out the other way, and that's when I'm not following my rules, my sizing, and I don't have my stop losses in place. I'm just like, let me just see, and then it gets cooked, and then it goes. It'll go my direction after it cooks the account. It's always funny to see it too. It's always funny to see it. I was like, well, if I was sized correctly, I would have survived that. But when I go in full cons and I'm like, well, it's probably going to retest that area. And then you see it retest the area. And I'm like, I knew it. Oh, but it popped my account first. And then it went. I'm like, oh, well. Wasn't being patient. What's up, Bobby? What's up, V-Pizzle? Don't trip. I should have locked myself out because I went in a short and went up was green 300. Now down 1,300. Zerdro! Zerdro! You were up 300. You should have called it a day. Got to get stricter. Get stricter on yourself, Joe. Hope everyone is doing well. Hey, oh, Javi, I'm eligible for my first. Hey, Shram the Ram, let's go. First payout ever today on Lucid. Let's go, Shram the Ram. Let's go. That's amazing, bro. I'm happy, so happy to hear that, man. So mad I didn't hold the trifecta this morning. It would have been, yeah, the trifecta. I saw the trifecta this morning. I saw the trifecta this morning. It wasn't, again, this is there's not so clean trifectas, and then there's really clean trifectas. This didn't full blown give you the trifecta buy because this did cross before over here at 9:30. Then it technically broke the level, right? This should have triggered, honestly. I don't know why it didn't. Then gave you another one here within one candle. Actually, let me take a look at my settings. It should have triggered. Why didn't it trigger? Oh, there we go. I had my signals off on the one. There it is. There it is. All right. There it is. And then the 5. Right here. 9:30. Yep. Beautiful trifecta. Did retest the whole thing, though. That's what was scary. It retested the whole damn thing. And then skyrocketed. Haven't gotten another signal since. Just straight bullish push the entire freaking day. Only one blue candle has been broken. Actually, this one broke. Two blues. I'm going to correct myself. 2 blues have been broken in total versus a ton of purples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 purples versus 2 blues. So you can see where the push is going. You can see that it's more bullish than bearish. There's another purple coming in. It looks like it's going to retest this breaking candle right here at 144. Right? Again, this could go deeper. Remember, the hourly is about to close. So the hourly could test a little deeper. But let's see what it does here. Let's see what the DOM does at around 40. It's not really going crazy. Ooh, there's a little bit of spread happening. Now the DOM's speeding up at 40. The DOM is speeding up at 40. Now I want to start seeing it pull up and not just hover. There it goes. There's a nice little speed up. Okay, now that's a violent pull down. It's getting really fast here at 40. You want to see it continue to pull up if this 40 area is going to hold. You want it to stay above this breaking candle. There it goes. There's a nice little pull up from that. That was just 8 points though. So not super strong. All right, this is a sell signal here, so it could give some good push. We got purple on the 2 minute as well. So now guess what I'm doing, right? I'm going to move that line up here. Okay, I'm going to actually get rid of this one as well for now. These two are technically broken. So I can get rid of these guys now. And this is what I have. Now we have this on the 2 minute. That'll go up there. And let's see what you do now. Again, back at 40. 40. Yep, it's holding 40 pretty dang well right now. So it's gonna maybe retrace up to 53 if it continues to hold 40. And then you want to see what it does at 53. If it breaks through 53, it'll test the top side of the candle. If not, then we have a potential new resistance point. We have a bit of levels here. So yeah, I mean, this could start going down. Absolutely. We have levels up here. But you want to see it start to break underneath 40. And then you're going to test some of this down here. If it can't break underneath 40, you're not going to get a pull down. Again, held 40 beautifully. Look at that one. That's a nice pull up. There's 53. What did it hit? There's 53 right there. There's the center of the candle, right? There's a blue candle. Ah, now we know what to do. Look at that. Beautiful. See? Look at that, right? There's your midpoint of your candle. That's your retracement. So now that candle's been retraced. Now let's see if it continues to pull up over 65. Closed over 53. There it is. Hopefully you guys are tracking this. We're going to see a potential now, another failed bearish move, or we're going to get stuck in here. Look at that. Held 40 beautifully. 20 point pull up, 25 point pull up. And lo and behold, right? Lo and behold, big blue showed up. And the bottom of blue is at 40 and a quarter. I love this. I love doing this, guys. All right. All right, let's continue reading. Quantum, you can trade all day, all night. Opportunities happen. Yep, they happen all the time, right? You just have to be picky. There are going to be good ones and bad ones, but Now you guys see how I do what I do. Like, I can trade whenever I want. I can find a setup whenever I want. I'm not going to wait too long to find a setup. I just have to be patient for the best ones. That's all. But I can play multiple setups, multiple within 30 minutes, 40 minutes, easy. So I'm glad that some of y'all are able to see how I do what I do. I eat on the chop, I eat on the moves, I eat on the continuations, I eat on the rejections, I eat on everything. Zero bias for me. I'm reacting to what the chart is doing for me. All right, here's a tricky one, right? That candle closed below at the last second. Now it's pushing up. I wouldn't be playing this, right? You got your 2 minute, nope, didn't either. Didn't either. See, look at that wick down. The 2 minute didn't either. Rejected 68. You have to wait for the candle closure, right? And you need a 2 minute candle closure, not just a 1 minute. There's your rejection. Ta-da! All right, that's my scare on final day. I blow them trying to get a higher payout. I've been taking some on blown accounts, and it's been going that. Yeah, always wait for when you're eligible for a payout. Take the payout. Okay, if you're not digging into your buffer, take the freaking payout. Because guess what? Even if it's like $200 or $300, that $200 or $300 is now house money you can buy more accounts with. Instead of blowing it, not taking your $200 or $300, and now you're using your own $200 or $300 because you blew an account, right? And you're like, damn, I should have taken that $300. I could have bought 3 accounts without my real money, right? The internet money is better than my real money. You're late, Dan. I'm recording this one. Don't worry, brother. I'll be throwing beats. Purple break. Purple break. Purple. Yeah, I got a tongue twister on that one, scat. That's what I was trying to do, get more and held a loser trade. But I saw it. DCA, and the next thing I knew, deep red. Yeah. Gotta get strict, Sergio. You gotta get super strict. Because Sergio, like, I hope you see this, man. You pass evals now. There's no reason, right? You can't get to that payout consistently. You just have to slow your roll, right? Take your time. Take that 300, call it a day. Don't touch that account. 300 is a great day. Remember, that's what I used to make. I used to make 320 to $340 a day, working 9 to 10 hour shifts. You made 300 in like a blink of an eye, right? And then when you get past that buffer, you make 300 in less than an hour. That's the dream job. That's the dream job. Damn, scalping all morning, one day pass. Let's go, Howie. Look at you, Howie. Look at that. One passing an account in one day. Sorry, I missed the beginning of the lines done on the later time frames of the 1 minute. Look at that beauty. Look at this. Look. This is how I play the freaking range, right? Candles don't close above. I'll like the short. You have the mid of the range, then the bottom of the range. Now it's the same area. Right, now I want to see if a candle will hold the bottom of 40 again. Look, it already bounced. It hit 41, bounced almost 10 points right off the bat. Right, again, I won't play violently back and forth. But it's, there are times where I'll just test a couple micros at a time until it breaks one side, then I'll get out of it. I missed the beginning of the lines done later time frames on the 1 minute. Yeah, so when you're on the 1 minute, okay, so how, like, this is how I draw it out, guys. So when I have the crosshair, right? You see how the crosshair bleeds through to all the time frames, right? Whenever I move it on the 1 minute, right? So if I'm looking at my 5 minute chart, right, and I'm looking at a blue, so I'm seeing this blue right here. So I'm automatically gonna try to line that up with my 1 minute chart. So I know it's all the way down here, right? So it's like right here. Right, it's perfectly aligned with a couple blues on the 1 minute, but I would basically do this, right? Boom, go to my line. I have my favorite tools here. You go to your line here, and I would line it up. So wherever that 1 minute is, right there, boom. So I lined it up with my 5. Now I'm going to add my little text, right? I have a 1 minute, 2 minute, however you want to put it, right? 2 minute and 5 minute level, right? And boom, just like that. So now I have this area labeled for me, and I know this is going to be a major area for strength potential if it ever gets down there again. And same thing would apply, right? If I had other candles on other time frames in the same areas. Currently, these aren't labeled because these are just 1 minute. They're just 1 minute areas, right? Here, this one, I could label it, right, if you want to. You know, you could label it 1 minute and 2 minute. So it gives this area a little added strength, just a little bit. Right? You got 2 candles you need to break. Keeps you on your tippy toes, knowing that you don't want just a 1 minute candle to break. You need a 2 minute candle to break. Right? So you're gonna be careful with that. That's a good way to kind of do it as well. I'm gonna see if there's a way, and this is gonna be hard. This is gonna be very hard because quantum is already an insanely heavy indicator. But if maybe there's a way to toggle between the levels, whether you want to see the purple and blue candle levels or the action line levels. I don't know if there's a way to do that without blowing the thing up, because it's already an insanely heavy indicator. But when we have our next when I have my next discussion with Owen, I'll ask him what he thinks. And if he says there's a possibility and we're gonna test it, I'll test it out. And if it doesn't blow up my trading view and the indicator still runs great, we'll see if it's a thing we can do. So that you guys don't have to always draw them out. You keep control pressed. You can copy your levels by dragging them. Oh, you can? See, I don't know that stuff, Lovey. So you don't have to delete and add new ones sometimes. See? Always learning new stuff. I like that. Sorry, missed the beginning. All right. When there is a market divergence, like today, a lot of days in the past, how do you view NQ and SPX? When there's divergence, I ignore NQ. I ignore SPX. I'm sorry, I don't ignore NQ. When there's divergence, I ignore SPX. I stop looking at SPX. Ooh, we're going to get our first blue break. Ooh, we're going to get our first blue break here, right? I do not, if there's, or not, is it going to close above at the last second? You have to be patient here. Oh, look at that. Last second pop up. That's why you have to be patient and wait. When there is, especially the last couple days, there have been instances of insane divergence. I won't even look at it. Like, I don't even have SPX on my chart right now. I don't have it. It's been flip-flopping. So I don't want it to judge my my judgment. Look at that. Oh, man, look at that close above. Popped up. Still not ready to break a blue. So that's just something, to keep an eye on. If they're not doing their thing, right? If you're not able to read weakness versus strength. It's just, NQ's going up and SPX is going down. There's just no point in reading it. I want them to track. I want to be able to read the weakness and the strength, then one following the other kind of thing. When is the 5 minute level? And that was a little bit of sauce there, guy. You snuck in a little bit of a saucy question there. So when is the 5 minute level not valid anymore? In your opinion, only when a 5 minute candle closes above or below the level, or when a 1 minute, 2 minute candle closes. So anything to do with the specific time frame, those levels are invalidated by that specific time frame's candles. So 5 minute levels are only invalidated by 5 minute candle breaks. 5 minute blues and purples are only invalidated by 5 minute candle breaks as well. And same thing, 1 minute candles, you pair them with their time frame. 2 minute would need a 2 minute break, 5 minute would need a 5, 10 would need a 10, 15 would need a 15. So they track like that. So that's why it's good to label them like this, because you might see a 1 minute break, right? But if it's multiple, right? If there's a 1 and the 2 is the one that's got to close above. So you enter the trade on the 1 thinking, okay, the 1 minute broke, not paying attention to the 2. The 2 doesn't break it, then all of a sudden it reverses back down on you and you get cooked. And then you're like, oh, dang, it didn't play out this time, right? Even so, you're still going to experience losses. You're still going to experience a loss here and there. The important thing is to continue to play the same patterns, the same routine, the same setups. Get really good at playing, right? There's a couple setups with quantum you can play, right? Inside the range, you can play the breaks of the range, the breaks of the blues and the purple continuations, A++ setups with confirmation of other areas of interest, right? You don't want to just play the signals without added confluence, because you're going to get cooked on them, right? This signal, right? Again, right? Cross happened on top of it. Risky. Right, this big purple candle, high chance it might get retraced. Right, until it breaks that 40 area was what held, because that's what broke before. Right here, this 40 area, this purple break was the flip That's why that 40 area was an area I was looking at. So this 40 break right here, that's where your resistance became support, hopefully, right? If it breaks back below, then it'll get flipped again. Your support becomes resistance now. And that's why that 40, right? That was the area that I was looking for here to hold. And look at that. Back and forth in the range, back and forth. And until a candle closes up here, right? And you need a 2-minute candle to close, you're still in the range. Okay. That's great questions, guys. You guys are asking great questions today. It's good for tax write-off. Exactly, Dan. I not financial advice. I did make that video. I was like, I gotta yell some more accounts. I'm gonna get my tax write-off for this year. Hopefully, it will be a lot better. That's me. That only one I'm crying. Oh man. I went short when Llama said short, but I saw it break the failed bearish and still held. Yeah, Caesar Joe. The part of not FOMOing is very important, guys. Okay, if you guys are listening to one of our shows, right, whether it's Max, whether it's me and Logan, or Llama, or Izzy and Coach, if you don't see it on your chart, if it doesn't make sense to you, don't take it just because we say it, right? You have to understand what we're seeing. That's the cheat code of the whole thing, right? If you don't see it, don't take it, right? I used to get burned like that way back in the day too, because I'm like, they like this, they like that. I would get in it, and I'm like, I'm completely fighting everything that my thing's telling me, and I get cooked. I'm like, oh, I'm getting the FOMO feeling, and I'm getting cooked. I'm like, man, I should have just followed my thing. Oh look, right, the 1 minute did break and it went, but the 2 minute is still currently, it could easily still pull back the last 20 seconds. That's why you gotta be careful. It's got 20 seconds left. Let's see if it closes above. So yes, be cautious, right? Letting the FOMO get to you, Zerdro, especially on a pro, because I know the itch to want to get to that buffer as fast as possible. But you're gonna go through that same routine. Oh, look, the 2 minute barely closed, barely, like right there. So that one's a tricky one. It's got a 1 minute level there. It could start if it needs to break 68 though, but that is a tricky one right here. This is one I would probably just watch, because the 2 minute, that's a tippy tip break. That wick pulled down at the very last second. So I wouldn't consider that a clean break. But you want to be cautious, right? Trying to force or race to that buffer. Okay, sorry, I kind of like sideswiped in between that little bit of psychology. The chart's so distracting to me. I've been on this journey of day trading futures for the past 3 years, but it's only my second week in this server. That's crazy. That's crazy, Shram. That is crazy. And I'm glad, right, that you got here and you're thriving, right? There's just places you get to and you just start kicking it, right? Same thing with coaches, right? Some of you guys done great with me. Guess what? Some of you guys do better with Logan. Some of you guys do better with Coach. That's just a part of it. You got to find that one style that fits for you and that gets you to that consistency, right? Like, who was it? Who was it? There was, I forgot the guy's name. One guy, he's a student of all of us, but it wasn't until he got to Logan that his stuff started kicking off for him. And I have others where it's the opposite, right? And they got to me, and then their stuff started kicking off. So it's about finding your place, and that's what's beautiful here is that we have such an amazing team. Like, you can't go wrong with any of us, right? We all have our unique little tidbit style in here and there, but the majority, if you listen, we all say the exact same thing: learn to lose, control your sizing, don't chase, right? We all say the same freaking thing. We all say the same thing in terms of psychology. It's all psychological. Like, it's you versus you. It's literally you versus you. If you can't control your rules, if you can't follow your rules, and you keep bending them and pretending like it's okay and not holding yourself accountable, you're gonna keep doing the same thing. You're gonna keep blowing your accounts. You're gonna keep YOLOing. You're gonna keep chasing, and you're never gonna come to that point where you get sick of yourself because the rules don't matter to you. So to you, right, that point isn't gonna come easily. When you start really, really respecting your rules, it's usually when you hit your breaking point. When you hit your breaking point, you're like, I need to stop fucking this up. And how are you going to do that? Following your rules. And I had the dumbest rules ever. When I think about my rules, it was just 10-point risk, 10 points EP, 3 strikes and I'm out. My targets were like the main thing. If I hit my targets, I was done. I had 3 simple rules, but I had to follow them. And then not touching minis, just touching micros, only trading micros. But those rules, I followed them, and I finally got here. By sizing the hell down, which is crazy to think about. Makes the charts look slow. Use house money to pay for quantum months. There you go, futures that exactly. I have a max 1500 payout ready to submit on Lucid, and it's tough not trading today because I have to wait till end of day. Shram, it shouldn't be tough. When you have 1500 waiting for you to take out, you should be so freaking happy. That's the part you got to be able to control those emotions. You got to be just celebrating. I got 1500 coming into my bank later today. I don't need to look at the charts or nothing. I don't need to worry about nothing right now. You should be like having, if you drink or smoke or marijuana or whatever, just feel good about yourself. Because that's the goal of this whole thing. Get those payouts, right? This is extra money. If you have a job, this is extra money. Extra money, right? This is like a gift that you gave to yourself from the market by playing the market, your rules, following your rules, doing your thing. You should be super proud. You should not be giving into the itch of needing to trade when you have that kind of money coming in. Exactly, Psycho Dad. 200, 300 a day is enough. I think he has over 40 accounts. Yeah, and remember, right? And like Trina said, okay, I have over 40 accounts. I started with 4 accounts, 450Ks, right? I started with 1. My first payout came out with 1, right? With 4, in less than 2 months, I made $18,000. Just 450Ks. 4. Hitting 2, after I hit my buffer, after I got to my 2K buffer, all I needed was 250. 250. You don't need a whole lot. You don't. And you guys got to dig that into your head. Everyone's going to show their huge numbers, right? Everyone's going to show off their big numbers. And you're going to be like, oh, that could be me, that could be me. The majority of that is evals. It's very rare that you're going to see somebody actually consistently do those huge numbers and then get consistent payouts. They're going to make big numbers here and there. And then guess what? They're going to shrink. They're going to get small, right? They're going to slow down. And then those big numbers that they saw, that's all they're going to want. So that when they don't have those big numbers, they're not going to feel satisfied. Even though it's still good money, and they're going to start YOLOing and they're going to start blowing account after account after account, chasing that feeling again, when even making 400 times 3 accounts or even 200 times 3 accounts is 2 people's salary per day. And then you multiply that by whatever, right? And I don't copy trade. I traded, I think, like 12 accounts between yesterday and today, having my fun. I traded 2.5 hours yesterday, like 5 of my accounts. Today, I think I traded for 3 hours. I traded another 6. Big volume, big moves. And then I had my little bit of fun while I was waiting here and there. You don't need much. But again, that's a part of control. That's a part of being able to stop when you need to stop, collect when you're going to collect. We have some divergence in Q. Took the high from 1103 and ES didn't. Yeah. Right now, struggling to stay afloat. Right? 2 minute did close. It's testing this 2 minute. Oh, this 2 minute just broke. So it's testing this 2 minute candle. Needs to hold above it needs to hold above 56. So let's see if it'll hold above 56. And again, this is the current day high, right? This is the current day high. So this is where I'm cautious, right? This is where I'm extra cautious. If I'm going to test this, it might be just 1 or 2 micros here. There's a nice pull up, right? It came all the way down to 60. That's a 4-point stop loss, right? Pulled up 5 points so far. Could it keep going? Maybe. Oh, almost had another blue on the 5, right? Almost had another blue on the 5, right? It's just one of these areas where I play cautiously around. We do have another level up top, but this could easily just pause here. It could easily just start flipping here as well. I mean, it's still looking pretty damn bullish to me, but, anything could happen. This is a current day high. I don't copy trade. Yeah. We have some divergence in Q. Okay, but No, but 300 times 40 is 12K a day. Yeah. If I were able to trade all 40, I don't though. I don't trade all 40. I trade 6 to 8. Today I went a little I had some fun today. And between yesterday and today, I had some fun. There was volume last night. I had some fun last night. Trade for like 2.5 hours. I hit my target on a bunch of accounts yesterday. That's a great way. I love that. Super COD on market divergence. Even if you had 4 accounts and made 300 a day on them. Exactly, Trina. And that's exactly what I'm telling you guys, right? That you don't need a whole lot to make a whole lot. You just don't. Oh, look, it's testing the bottom of that area. The Dom's not really reacting down here too much. All right. Well, this will be posted, Lindsay. Absolutely. It is a cheat code, but also very tempting to take the trade if it's a loss. It's not the fault of the MOT team because you're pulling the trigger. That's right. That's right, Chris. I realized I don't fit anyone's trading style, but I take bits I like and combine to create my own style. That's the other part, Reaper, right? You can take and combine styles, right? You can find your own style. I created my own style with Max's stuff that he taught me, and it just gave me my edge finally. What I was looking at, right, when I teach people the Max confluences that I use, right, with how I play Saucebox and these other things, I'm like, that was the extra icing of the cake that really made me understand everything. Like, really got me to hone in. Look at this, right? Look at that. Held this top area, broke back under 56. Now it's going to potentially test this 40 area. If it gets down there, we got another purple on the 2. And this is the reason, right? This is a good example why I'm cautious at day high. Because this did break. This was technically a play. But you're at the current day high. You're so close to it. You have to be careful. There's a high possibility of getting burnt. That was a nice pullback, actually. Now we have this purple here. I will get rid of this guy here. It's been broken. Nothing on the 1. I'll add the one that's on the 2, actually. Oh, I should have done what you told me. So I'm going to leave the one that's on the 2 minute on the 1 minute. I'm going to text it 2 minute so I know what it is. And there we go. All right. Get another account and start another eval. If you're able to, Matthew, it'll be tougher to lose it. Smoke a J, have some Chinese food, and take a nap. Day's over. Collect the payout. Exactly, bud. 250 times 4 accounts is good shit. It is. Like I'm telling you. Like every 10 days, right? So I had 2 account types that were similar to Alpha. Okay. They were very similar to Alpha in terms of every 5 days you make 200, you're eligible for withdrawal. Okay. So every 5 days, my target was 250. So I had to buy I bought 2 evals. They were under $100. This was the beauty about these 2 evals. They were $98 for these 50K evals. Passed them in less than 2 weeks. Then I started my buffer building state. I like to do 400 a day. That's how I did my straight to funded accounts when I built my buffer. And then after that, all I needed was the same 250. Like 250 was like my bread and butter number. So I had these 2 accounts. I got to 2K buffer, 250 a day. Every 5 days, the max I could withdraw was 1,200. Alpha, their max on their zeros is 1,500. So you could make 350, 300 a day if you want to. But even 1,250, even 250, even you don't have to always go for the full max payout. Taking out 1,200 times 2 is 2,400, right? A week. So I had 450K accounts. So the other straight to funded from Tradeify, I was getting 2,000 times 2 every 10 days. So just hitting 250, the first 2 months, I had nothing but green. Like I hit like this crazy streak on those 2 months. And I remember sharing this with Max. I know some of my students already know the story. Some of you guys already know the story. Between October 9th was my first payout in 2024. And that Thanksgiving weekend, I don't remember the actual date of Thanksgiving that year, but it was the weekend after Thanksgiving. My wife and I, we paid off our rent and everything, and we had a good amount of money in the bank still. And she was like, do you know how much you've made? I'm like, no, I have no idea. I was just doing my routine. 250 a day, calling it, 250 a day, calling it. And I just kept collecting the payouts. Every freaking 5 days, I was getting 2,400. Every 10 days, I was getting 4K. And I didn't think about it because when I combined it all, right, every 10 days, I was getting freaking $8,800 every 10 days. I was collecting $8,800. And I made almost 19,000 in less than 2 months. I was I was I was kind of shocked. I was like, wait, let me do the math again. I had to do the math again because I didn't believe it. Like, I'm like, no, that's crazy. I did the math again. And I was like, holy crap. Like, why was I chasing so big? Like, why? Like, I've never made that much money in 2 months ever before in my life, other than when I was being stupid with options, right? But I would burn more than I would win, honestly, right? But being able to consistently do that and not feel the insane pressure of options, because when you're playing options to make that much money, you got to put in a shit ton of money, a lot of money to try to make that much. Here I am with these accounts, right? Two of them cost me $208, right? $208 each. The other two cost me less than 100 each. So I invested less than $600 and turned it into almost $19,000. I was like, hell yeah. That's the possibilities here. But you have to be able to control yourself. That's the fucking secret. That's the hard part, right? You can have a system that has 80, 70% win rate, right? But the 30, 20, 50% of the time that you're not winning, if you're just blowing your accounts, that win rate won't matter. Because 50% of the time, 60% of the times you're winning, but guess what? That one time that you lose, you blow your whole freaking account because you can't stop. That's why you have to stop. Follow your damn rules. You have to follow your damn rules. It's just in this range now. It was a great feeling, Only Charts. It was an insane feeling. And it's crazy because any of you guys can do this. Any of you guys can do this, right? I fed everybody, right? If you guys have quantum, you can trade the exact same way I trade, okay? The exact same way. Everything's out there. The only thing that I coach that is different that I use, right? Those major areas of interest, sauce box. I add a little bit of the max sauce, the max sauce in there, right? I break down some of the strats that I use of his, that I bleed in with quantum. And then the intraday sauce box on metals, on golds, it's insane. That's my coaching. And then most of the time I'm answering questions and kind of making sure you understand quantum really well. The people that take my coaching really want to ask a lot of quantum questions, and I go right into it as well. But like the majority, like I don't rely on coaching. I don't need coaching money. Like I rely on payout income forever. That's all I needed. So like everything you guys need to really trade like me, right? Because remember, I didn't have Saucebox back then. I had nothing but quantum. It's all out there on YouTube. Go take YouTube University, right? And the more you watch my videos, the more you see how repetitive my thing is. It's every video is repetitive. Whoo, what a bleed through. Oh my goodness. What a bleed through happening right now. Sorry, the market distracts me. 8,800 positive 20K you could put in. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Shang. I have a DLL set at 250 on WC and also on TradeAvate, but you can change it the same day. Yes, you can. And that's the thing, right? When you lock yourself out. Don't go in and then go, let me adjust it. Let me add 250 loss more in there. Let me add another 300 loss in there. And that's the part of you having to hold yourself accountable. Because many times we bend our rules, or we try to. Trust me, my first rodeo of rules, my first week, I kept trying to talk myself into breaking my rules. And I had to keep talking myself out of it. I had that little angel and demon thing going on where I was like, he's like, oh, if you switch to minis, you'd be done much faster. Right. But then when I would take my losses, I'd be like, well, that's the reason you're not touching minis, because if you took this L with your minis, you'd be down $700. But guess what? You're only down $70. Like that's what I had to lean on. I had to lean on the positive side to keep talking myself out of breaking my rules. And it's not easy. It is not easy. That is the hardest freaking part of this. Is the freaking psychological game that is involved in trading. It will create a person you never understood or knew, or it'll show you a side of you that you didn't think you had. It's fun. It's funny. It's fun and funny. How do you manage to trade all the accounts? I can't if I don't copy. How do I do it? So for me, Benjamin, this is a game for me. Like, you guys see me on my phone. I mean, you guys, this thing is on with me all the time. So I don't play video games. This is my video game. So pretty much, if I'm up at 7 in the morning or 8 in the morning and I'm in the bathroom, guess what I'm doing? Right? And once I pop in for the morning show, I'm in here. I'm obviously trading. Asia session opens at 6. If my wife and I aren't watching a movie or something, even if we are, my phone's still with me. That's my game. So I will trade, and if I take three L's, strike out 3 on this account, boom, I take a little break, move on to the next, and I just do that, right? But I don't trade like every day. Like, I traded a lot of accounts between yesterday and today. Normally 6 to 8 accounts a day is what I kind of stick to, around there, 6 to 8. And that's very doable for me. I just don't copy trade because mentally for me, the copy trading would affect my, if I took an L on 5 accounts with one trade, that would affect me. And I know that might trigger a tilt moment. And that's just, some of you guys can copy trade. Some of you guys, you're right. That's just a personal preference. I just prefer not to, because I know it might send me tilt. And I want to prevent that as much as possible. Oh yeah, Kingdom. Saucebox paid well today. There were some big Saucebox plays today. So for me, it's just, I just cycle. I cycle, right? There'll be days where all I'm going to do is trade Tradeify and Lucid. Other days I might just trade TPT and FFF. Other days I might just trade, Funded Next and Alpha. And that's how I cycle. Absolutely, Mooney. I'm looking forward to scheduling a coaching call next week with you. I'm getting prepared as much as possible. Absolutely, Mooney Matthew. I'm here, brother. I'm here whenever you want to book, man. I'm here, guys. Do you record the coaching? Yes, I do record the coaching sessions and send them to you guys. Yes. I heard Javi said full pull shorts. You'll never hear those words out of my mouth unless I'm going full-blown DJ on Power Hour for entertainment purposes only. Mini-san. No Microsan. No. Microsans always. To verify, I can get Saucebox if I book a session with you. Yes, Lindsay. I break down Saucebox, intraday Saucebox, the Mac Sauce. I go through a lot of stuff. My sessions are supposed to be an hour and a half. They average 2 hours, sometimes 3, depending on, depends on how the market's moving. The market's moving slow, it's going to take longer because I like to go through reads as the market's moving. It's always fun to see it happening in real time. It's forward testing. I love forward testing more than back testing. Evil Kermit almost got you. I did that day. Talking shit to myself, did not lock myself out and blew my funded. Exactly, Sal. You have to be able to control yourself. That's the hardest part. Copy using a sim leader at the smallest size and don't look at any of my accounts. Yeah, if that works for you, Kingdom, you do it, bro. I just can't do it because I will know that I'm trading multiple accounts. Like, I would not be able to just like shut it off and be like, yeah, I'm only trading this one account, even though I know I got like 3 more plugged in there. And I'd be like, remember, I'm an anxious trader, guys. Remember that. I'm emotional and anxious. I deal with anxiety when I'm trading, and this is how I prevent it. Dude, this thing is constantly testing this 40 area. Look at that candle. That candle did not close at 40. It did not close at 40. I will not be surprised if it tried to pop itself back up. But this 2-minute has room to get to 32 as well. Look at that. There goes the pop-up. It's just between this 40 and this freaking 64 or 65 area. This is the kind of fun range that I like. Like, when I can identify this kind of range, this is fun range to play. But I'm not gonna scalp the whole moves. Like I would just scalp 10 points, and then wait. Right, if it breaks below, then I'll play the move below. But until a candle breaks below, I might try to go for it here. That's a nice That's a nice rejection off the midpoint of the sell. This is if this closes below. Oh, it did it. We it needs to 3-bar down now. Okay, there's a 3-bar down. It's 3-barring down, but that candle needs to close below here, and you'll get continuation push. And there we are at the 32. That's the 32 on the 2-minute. 2-minute needs to break 32. It's got about 40 seconds left. And then after 32 breaks, then we have room to 09. There's a nice little 3Z. But again, 32 needs to break and hold. And then you might start seeing another pushback down. This might be maybe the beginning. Maybe. Let's see what SPX is doing. Let's see if they're tracking at all. Let me take a peek. Ah, okay. SPX already began its failed bullish move. Looks like they're kind of tracking right now. SPX started it right here. If you guys look at my chart all the way to you guys, I think it'll be the right. I'm not sure. Right. There's the break of the blue candle on SPX. Right here. That's what began the push down. You see the retest and everything. Now we're stuck. Next break would need to be 865.53 on SPX. NQ looks like it's trying to follow. The 2-minute barely closed. Barely closed below it. And there it is, pulling itself back up. So right now we might get stuck between that 32 and 40. But if 32 continues to hold, it's going to keep pushing down. SPX is making its way down to the next blue. So there's SPX bleeding right through. NQ is showing strength right now. Well, now SPX will need to break through 865.49 next for it to keep going. That played out beautifully up here. That played out beautifully. Oh my gosh. There's the push down. 109.50 will be next. SPX bleeding right through it. Bleeding right through that level. Going for that fill potentially. NQ showing strength. NQ pulling up first. So NQ is definitely showing some strength here. We hit that first halfway point of the uptrend, right, on the cloud, right on the money at 15. Like right on the money. If it breaks and closes below 15, then the rest of this might be in play. But that bounced hard. Hard off that 15. Let's see if SPX can pull itself back above. If not, NQ is going to possibly wait for the retest. There's the close below, so it might wait for the retest. We might see that pull down to 109 if SPX cannot break back in. Let's see if let's see if it tracks. Let's see if it follows and tracks. NQ could retest all the way to 30 if it wanted to. But let's see if it continues. There it goes. There it goes. It's really close. That was a nice little play right there. There's 109. Boom. Right there. 109. There you go. Now it could bleed through that. If it pops back up, beautiful. I played that with one mini. I'm trying to pass these Apex accounts. I'm at 2440. I bought a couple of those new Apex accounts and took that right under for like 220. So close. If it can hold under 109 next, then we have room to 98. So you want to see it start to break down, start to really hold below. The candle didn't fully close. SPX has a shit ton of room. SPX has a ton of room. Next area for SPX is 857.96, but look at that, right? Look at that. Beautiful hold over 109. Right back up again, right? It could retest all the way back to 30. There's a gold MVG up here as well. And that's why I took it at 109. took that at 109. Now it could retest all the way to 130. Look, there's 130. No, there's a big blue. There's big blue. Ooh, okay, so then this could get stuck between 130 and 106 now. Let's see what you're gonna do here. And NQ held that uptrend. It did not close underneath. 50 seconds, it bounced hard. So it's looking still like it wants to bull run. Look at that beauty. Wow. There's 47. Now, if it breaks back in here, it needs to break 47 next. 2 evals on TPT, done for the day. Haha, way to go, scat. Maybe a stupid question, but how do you use the cloud, or which YouTube can I watch about the cloud? I don't think I've made a YouTube video on how I use the cloud currently, so I will probably have to do that. But the cloud, right? I guess I'll throw this in here actually, right? I only use the cloud on the higher time frame. That's it. The 5 minute tracks with the 15 and the 5 minute, right? The first area, the first half of the cloud is close to matching the 5 minute trend, or actually matches the 5 minute trend. The second part of the cloud is close to matching the 15-minute trend. So when I used to play trends, I would only play the 5 and the 15-minute. And then this would give me the gauge of how much space in between the breaks I have. So if this broke and closed below that 13, where it's kind of right now, will be at 15, actually 115, I would have space to play all the way to about 60, right? This room would be available for potential play before it decides to bounce back up and continue. So this is how I use the cloud. I do not use it on the 1 or the 2 because it will throw off plays for me, because I'd be afraid that the 1 minute trend would continue to go, right? Because I see it green on the 1 minute or 2 minute when I look at my candles for that, right? I look at my candles for the confirmation. So if I'm seeing blues break, I know the downtrend is holding strong. If I see purples break, I know the trend is holding up. So that's why I got rid of it on the 1 and the 2 minute, because you will use the candles to gauge your strength and trend. And you're going to play the continuation based on those breaks. The only other part that I care about besides that is the higher time frame, right? It's been in deep green ever since 8 in the morning. That's where the trend flipped. 8 in the morning, there's your break of 36, right? Guess what it did? Guess what it did at the open? It retested that 36 area. It retested that 36 area where it also broke some bearish candles and that pop up. That's why the higher time frame trend's all I care about. I do not care about 1 minute trend. I don't care about 2 minute trend. That 106, 109 area held beautifully. Held beautifully. Look at that insane pop up. If anybody caught that for 50 points, congratulations. I only caught the short for a little bit. Caught that pull up, 20 points, degen mode activated. There you go, paranormal. You caught that. But that's not a stupid question, Soul. No, there's no such thing as a stupid question. All right, y'all. I'm going to call it. Hour and a half in. I got to eat lunch. Going to spend a little bit of time with the family. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You caught that whole move back up, Prime? Let's go on the pros. Good work, brother. Appreciate you guys as always. I hope you guys picked up some good information here. Some great questions were asked. We'll see you guys again. Maybe Sunday, maybe Monday, maybe Saturday. I don't know yet. No, I think we have plans Saturday. So I might not do a replay mode this week. I might not do a replay day, but I will try to sneak in another session as usual if I can. All right. So thank you all for joining me. YouTube, if you guys like this content, please like, subscribe, tickle the bells, do all that fun stuff. And I'll see you guys for Power Hour. Make sure you guys join the Discord, MOT, the Max Options Trading Discord. Go check out the website, maxoptionstrading.com. Get to check out all our indicators. Get to check out Quantum. You get to see me here with all the gang, have some fun, do some reads, do all that fun stuff. But appreciate every single one of you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Trade safe. And I'll see you guys for Power Hour. Peace out.